Hidely-ho, lops and tops aficionados, and welcome to Saturday. I'm joined by the usual crew of Kerry, Alex, Chloe, Morgan, and Tom. There we go, I did it right this time.
Yay!
Only you said you were joined by yourself.
I'm always joined by myself. The voices in my head, they don't go away.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be one of them episodes.
So we're starting Saturday. It's going to be a hot one. Are we all looking forward to the battle today? Because this is the first time in a while Dawn and Navarro fought.
Yeah, we all fought on the same side. I'm really sad because I didn't end up seeing either of you two from
You
the
saw
van.
me.
I saw you.
Nietzsche always just is there.
But Nietzsche fights with Dawn, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Only for one more season, baby.
Oh, might be moving somewhere else.
Maybe. We'll see who wants to hire us.
We'll see. Yeah, it was a good shit. Good battle. Well, it was usual affair. First thing in the morning, getting everything ready. I'm so used to now, like, as we get ready, like, everyone's like, right, come on, we need to get going. They're all gathering in the Glory Square doing the chanting. I'm still getting my armour on. I remember back in the day, I used to panicking, like, get my armour on. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Now I'm like, well, they're going to get to the gate and wait there for 20 minutes. So I'm just going to take my time. Whilst they're on the square chanting, I'm like, yeah, good for you. Like, doing my straps up. They all march off. Come on, Tristan. I promise you I will not be late. And then I wander up and I'm still waiting there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. We always arrive an hour early, though, to cause our Rocker Shariah to
Yeah,
wake people up in the morning. And just so we're there and don't miss it.
Yeah, I always see you guys marching past. What do you guys make of the whole...
I like the look of it. It's so serious, but this time I look utterly ridiculous because I was running late, so I hadn't put my armor on. So as leader of the mercenary company, I'm just holding my armor in my arms.
I remember seeing that.
We're like at the bottom of the hill because it's so hot. It's like, wait to cause a racket, right now. We're in a reasonable marching distance to sing and not die of heat frustration.
Bloody jackdaws.
You're going to miss us next year.
Oh, it was quite funny because then quite a few people were like, oh, they're jolly. Look at these jolly
so
guys.
Jolly.
What's muster like for Navarre? What was it like when you all got up?
Well, it was different this time around because obviously we were camping with the Dread Shields. So there wasn't that question of, oh, we better hurry up. Do you reckon they're ready? Do you reckon they're heading out soon? Because you literally just stick your head out the tent and they're all there slowly getting ready. You could see the progress. But it was nice, wasn't it? Just be able, it was a lot less stressful, I think, getting ready with the rest of the group than usual.
Did Rocky have his morning box of wine?
He did. He had his
did have a
morning
swig of wine.
Sauvignon Blanc, his battle juice.
What a champ.
The Dread Shields we were first of Navarre to be ready. Like we gathered just on that the path where the boar's head's on, just outside of the woods. That's where we have our muster and our talk and things. And we got there and we were the first ones there. We were like, right, okay. So we just sat down on the grass at the bottom of the hill where our tent was last time. Just sat in the shade there and waited for everyone else. And then the rest of Navarre just kind of like trickled out and gathered. And then we had the talk. But I kind of knew what the plan was because at captain's meeting last night, Friday night, it had been spoken about. And then the rest of the leaders of Navarre went and sat in the Drunken Goose and kind of decided the plan. So I was there listening anyway. So I was like, all right, I don't need to pay attention. I know what's happening.
This is weird. You're probably the most clued in of us all about battles now, Chloe.
How do you like them apples?
You went to the meetings.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's happening. Slowly. She's going to meetings.
I'm going to take over.
You do know why you're here and you do know what's going on.
New Empress, you're in danger. Chloe's coming for you.
I did say right from the get-go that my goal for participating in LARPing and Empire was to become Empress, so I'm on my way.
That is how you win the game.
I'm making moves.
Yeah, there was a bunch of objectives for this conjunction, which was all related to winter magic. But all I knew was that we wanted to kill some Druge, cast some winter magic, and that there was going to be husks. And then the thing that was particularly exciting was that anyone that went terminal whilst on the battlefield could choose to return as a husk.
That sounds so fucking cool.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that.
That was my main understanding of it, just zombies. Okay, there may be zombies. Other than that, stick near Rook, listen to what he says, and you don't go far wrong. You don't have to remember everything.
I really enjoyed the entering of the battlefield this time. I liked how everyone, like Dawn and the Jackdaws, deployed in a giant line and marched towards the Druge line.
Yeah, because we were all together at that point, so I marched up with you. When we got onto the battlefield, there was just this long line of Dornish and Leaguers.
Yeah, because for some reason, Cordraco have hired 3 League mercenary companies, which I find beautiful. They've got the Seawolves, the Jackdaws, and the Bastardi.
The Bastardi, excellent.
I believe the Bastardi represent Sarvos. So it was called just a load of Dornish descending and then League mercenaries on the left flank, I believe. And then just singing Jackdaw songs as we're descending upon this Druge line was a lot of fun. But I forgot to drink my potion before the battle. That gives me the extra bit of fortitude. So as we're marching, like, shit, better get it out, better down this.
Oh yeah, I'd had a tonic before I went on, which was gave me 3 ranks of endurance, and then had the roleplay effect of you do what you want to do, regardless of other people's feelings.
A few of our group had the same, and yeah.
It was very funny.
You
It
were
was-
so funny on that battlefield. I just kept seeing you.
I marched over to Nietzsche at Wise Guys before we set off, and I grabbed him on his shoulder, said, "Right, draw a game."
Tristan is too fucking up for
And then,
games.
then when we got on the battlefield, I saw him. I was like, "Right, Husks are 1 point, Druge are 2. Let's go."
It wasn't Legolas and Gimli scenario.
It fully was. And then I was like, I don't know if he's getting engaged. So every time I'd go up to him, I was like, "That's 2." And then eventually I caught up with you again, and we were racking up score, which was really good fun.
Yeah. How was your side of the battle? Because I think we were on opposite flanks.
So it was quite boring for us, really. We Navarre were last through, and we had an order of who from Navarre, like which groups were going in first and whatever. So Dreadshields were going in first. The Deadfall were going in last because they were just there on, like, not on cleanup, but we were going in, and then if any husks arose, then they were taking care of those. But it kind of all got like really messy and pushed, and we ended up defending Regio 1, and there just wasn't any action there. We saw one husk, and that was because of one guy decided to like kamikaze himself, die, and then came back as a husk, and that was the only husk we saw.
Yeah.
And we just were stood around. I mean, I missed the majority of the battle because I am an idiot and had to come off field for a bit.
I mean, did you ever wonder, would this catch up to you? Did you have friends who were like, Chloe, maybe you should avoid doing this?
Everybody, not
Yeah.
a single person was like, "Oh, you'll be fine." Every single person was like, "Maybe you shouldn't."
A few minutes in, not even that, like a
It was
minute
like
into
5 minutes in.
into getting there, but like 30 seconds into an actual fight, you just got impaled straight into the stomach and just went straight to the ground.
I literally the day before, no, the Thursday, I like lightly tapped you with the sword and you nearly buckled. And I went, "I'm really sorry." I went, "But I barely fucking touched you.
Yeah.
Do not fight on Saturday."
So she went down into a ball on the floor, and there was that everybody, took the knee, and paramedics came over. Oh, well, medics, and then actual paramedics who were playing Empire, but outside of Empire were paramedics, came over to help, checked it out and everything. And they said, you need to go back, get everything sorted. I won't go into detail. And she was like, okay. And, these are paramedics saying, we strongly recommend you do not return to the battlefield. And I said to her, I'll come back with you if you want. I'm not, I'm more concerned about if she's okay rather than fighting. And she's like, no, you carry on, all the rest of it. So I was like, okay, I'll have a nice quick fight and maybe skip out a little bit early to make sure she's okay. What do I see 20 minutes later into the battle? Chloe running in, ambidextrous, sword in either hand, running at the Druge.
God, you don't even have a shield. You're a fucking idiot. Listeners, please do not do what Chloe did.
Larps and Tarps does not endure endorse. We do endure.
We endure the
grievous
pain,
issues.
but we
Chloe
do not
endure.
endorse it.
Listen to medical professionals.
Well, if there was another Empire, I would have maybe skipped it. This was the last one. There was no way I was going to miss out.
I missed out when I had bloody tendonitis in my foot.
We would surely we would rather you. Surely you would. In fact,
But I'm
I know
fine.
the answer to this
But
question.
I'm fine now.
God, don't take that message away, please, listeners. I'm begging you.
But all in all, after that first injury, it was kind of the best case scenario for you because, as you say, I wouldn't say it was boring. It was very different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
Because the Dread Shields were put in a situation where
With a shock unit.
we were overpowered. We weren't being over. What am I trying to say here? We weren't being.
You were underutilized.
You were.
We were underutilized, yeah. So every now and then there was a group of like 4 Druze just coming around the corner, and we'd be like, "Boo!" And then people were getting so bold that were running off for glory kills.
Yeah.
Which obviously didn't impress a lot of those in command. But Yeah, we were just chilling out in the woods. I mean, it was so hot. For me, I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
mind. We had the shade. We were in the trees.
Fair enough.
It was just a nice laid back battle considering it was 32 fucking
It
degrees.
was, I remember I was getting ready and I had my hose, brace, and shirt on. And the next thing after that is my Gambeson. And I was just looking down. I was like, I'm about to put a coat on. Like, I'm about to put on a padded jacket. And then
It's
put it on.
crazy, isn't it?
And then you put it on, and I'm like, what am I on? What is going on? But the thing is, I don't know if you found this because you're also in Heavy Tom. You don't notice it. Like, well, at least I was talking to a lot of people who, when you're fighting and going for it, you just don't, and then you stop, and all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, this is quite heavy.
Spoilers, it caught up with me later.
Wow, yeah, exactly.
I loved and hated this battle. I hated the fact I wasn't performing to my usual standard because of the heat. It's like, it was too crowded, it was hot. I'm like, usually I try and push to the front and get there, but it's like,
I
want to get to the front ranks, but it's too warm to like bother to muscle through people and whatnot.
we managed to, because we basically, the most interesting part really started once we got into the woods.
Yeah, once we were in the woods, it got a bit better.
So we'd executed a couple of orcs like outside, and that was good fun. And then we go into the woods and we meet with husks. And the jackdaws and a group of other like Dornish were engaging some husks on the left. There was a bunch of orcs ahead of us being engaged by some Dornish, and we were just kind of stood there. And I was like, right, I'm bored. And then I was really channeling Tristan at his core, and also I'll do what I want. I don't care who I upset. And I enjoyed pushing through the jackdaws, getting one hand, pushing one jackdaw all the way, getting my shield, pushing someone else. I just go, excuse me, coming through.
It was fucking brilliant.
Got my sword, and then I've just read now because I just got the stat box for this explains so much. The husks will die instantly if you get a single cleaver impale.
Yeah.
So I literally went, okay, excuse me, cleave, killed two of them, went to march forward, got my shield shattered. I was like, fucking hell. I was like, Gory, ran off, grabbed your jackdaw who was an artisan. I was like, artisan, heal, fixed my shield. They did that.
Fucking hell.
It was great, wonderful. Did exactly the same thing, pushed back to the front, got two more husks, same fucking mage. Shattered my shield again. I remember just got my sword and point at it. I was like, I'm going to kill you. Specifically, you are going to die. Which was really funny. And that was a lot of my fight was like the first 30 minutes, I was so high intensity, so just pushing to the front, killing things. But again, after like half an hour, 45 minutes, I was like, oh, I emptied the tank real quick.
Yeah, because our flank, we were on reguard duty defending the Regios a bit further out, and we just had constant waves of husks. coming at us. It was non-stop, and it was absolutely phenomenal. My jackdaws got to go wild. Like, we were taking out 10, 11 each. We got this squad called the Line Breakers, who specifically are the heavily armed. Like, if we're in a small line fight, they will go off to the side and just ram into them so we can then step forward. They were having a competition to win a magical sword with who can kill the most husks.
Brilliant.
They were loving life.
Everyone was having competition. I loved checking back in with you. I was like, I'm on 6.
I'm on 5. Spoiler, we did draw
We
in
drew
the
it
end.
10, didn't we?
You killed more Druge, I killed more
Yeah.
husks. But Modesto was loving it. He literally did the Shaun of the Dead maneuver, like, look at it over here, you zombie bastards, and led them into the Druge.
Oh, that's so good.
Gustavo, our new sergeant, was just shouting, for the love of God, pull back, get back into line. Everyone was just having way too much fun. But my highlight of the battle was when the leader of the Bastardi came up to me on the front lines. He was like, are you Uncle Nietzsche? Do you have a minute just to have a talk? Just talking about, sorry, we didn't invite you to the mercenary meeting. We didn't know you were mercenaries. And as this is going on, there is a line of Druge and husks approaching. And Modesto's like, Nietzsche, will you get back here? No, Modesto, I am in a meeting. Nietzsche, fucking get back here. They're moving the line forward to try and cover me whilst I'm having a meeting on the front line of the battlefield. And at this stage, apparently, I didn't see this, but the rest of my guild did. 4 arrows were coming at me from different directions, and it's like in a cartoon where the bullets go round you. They were missing me by, like, inches to centimeters.
Because you had your meeting plot
Yep.
armor on.
I can't be killed if I'm in a meeting.
You're in a cutscene. You're invincible
Yeah.
in the cutscene.
And it gets to the stage where about 5 meters away. It's like, yeah, we should probably break this up now. But nice meeting you. I'll see you off back in Anvil.
That's
so I
so
got a frontline
funny.
meeting, which probably was one of my event highlights.
God. I had, so I don't know if I mentioned that I had a ritual cast on me the day before, which gave me 2 stay with me's a day. And I used both of them in this fight. Both instances where a line was moving back. So one was, I don't know the new character's name. I was friends with their character in the previous life, which was really good. The line was coming towards them, grabbed them, stay with me, grabbed them up and got them to move. The other one that I'd seen, and I don't know if he'll go into it a bit more, was Talus. So I saw Ian from the Light Moves. And
Ooh,
I
my
saw
boy Talus.
Talus was on the floor, and there was literally, you couldn't see his feet because the line had moved to his shins. So they were starting to come towards him. Very much was able to run forward. I was borrowing quite a big shield. So I like sprinted towards the line, got the shield over me and over Talus. Kind of got to stay with me off, so he's got 1 hit point, start dragging him back. And I feel 2 hands on my shoulder pulling me back. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Trying to get Talus as I'm getting yanked back. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I get dragged up and someone's like, are you okay? I'm like, yes. I was like, I thought you were dying. I was like, no, I was helping him. It's like, oh, okay, good. It's like, thanks. Ran off, and then later Talus caught up with me in the way he always does. Like, oh, thank you, dear boy, for saving me earlier. I'll have to get you a drink back in Anvil, which was very funny.
Boy's flamboyant game is off the chart.
Wonderful. So that was really good. And then I think the other like big thing that happened to me in the fight was I was watching this one Druge. It was starting to come. That had a bow and arrow. And as I'm watching it, someone sprints past me saying, "Excuse me," and like grabs their sword and gets their sword and pushes me out of the way with it. Friendly fire hits are a thing in Empire. So if you hit someone with the sharp end of your sword and they're an ally, you still hit them. And I had that moment of processing as this guy runs past, hits me with the sword, like, excuse me, to go past, to push me out of the way. And I look at my arm. I'm like, that was a hit. That was a hit, wasn't it? And I start going, you motherfucker, you just stabbed me. He's like, I thought you'd be fine. You're wearing armor. And I'm like, a hit is a hit, you moron. I'm like shouting at this guy. And then a friend of mine from another house goes, Tristan, that's the Senator for Savos. I just shout, well, the Senator for Savos just cut my fucking arm. It was just a very funny interaction. We've just been going off at a very important politician for stabbing me. He's like, I'll get you a drink. I'm like, good. I was like, ow. He's like, I saved your life. I'm like, yeah, but you hurt me. Fuck you. It was just that really funny moment of like, Tristan, that's the Senator for Savos. I'm like, I don't care. Ow. But that was good fun. The fight was really good. I had loads of like those really fun moments while again just being pushing to the front, killing
I think
shit.
the last moment we really had on the battlefield was leaving. We were the rear guard, and we see a few Druge off in the background, and Modesta's like, shall we let them off the leash? Yeah, do it. Jackdaws, get him! And we all just charged across the field like fucking sheepdogs, like, fucking run you down. Everyone else applauded except our employer. The annoying bit, though, is when I pelted across the field, just got to the Druge line and did 2 whistles to pull back. It's like, for fuck's sake.
I had the same thing. We saw a bunch of Druge and they were taunting us. And I was like, right, let's go kill them. And I see one of them standing there. I recognize them. It's the Druge that shattered my shield twice. And I was like, you specifically are going to die. And she clocked me and I clocked her and she was like, come on then. I was like, right. Started to run across the field. And they do what Druge always do and they ran off. But like kept taunting us. I was like, I just looked, because with 2 of the Dornish and we were like, I'm not running across this field in 30-degree heat. No. So I just like pointed at them and left.
Yeah, when I got to mine, it's like there was a few 10 feet away. It's like, hearing the whistles come back. They're pulling back. Yeah. This could be the death of me if I charge off on my own.
It was so
I'm going to pull back. But Wilhelm got a bollocking off because they took too long to get back. It's like, well, we thought it was 1 whistle for charge. It's like, no, it was 2 whistles together, you fucking idiot.
That's so funny.
That was Modesto going serious is a lot of fun.
I only ever see Modesto being serious.
There was a really cool point for us, though, in the battle. Like, because we didn't really have much going on for us. You guys had all the fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it, bless you.
Honestly, we were just stood at Regio 1, like, cool.
I had some fun. I enjoyed it.
But there was a point where we were kind of holding it and we were looking. And so Regio 1 was literally right as you go through the gate. It was on that bit of wood that's like immediately on your left. So we could see the gate from where we were stood. I mean, it was a bit of a cheat, but we could see respawn, so we could see when people were leaving respawn, so we knew when people were coming out. But there was about 6 or 7 Druge just like way back at the Sentinel gate, and there was like 2 people on the floor. We kind of looked, but like because they were so far away, I kind of thought they were just out of it, like they weren't a part of it. And then they started like waving, like help us, and we were like, oh shit, there's 2 Imperials on the floor, like oh yeah, let's go save them. So we just kind of like toddled on over, like do you guys need saving? And these Druge, yeah, it was 2 Leaguers. It was just 2 random Leaguers.
That's good of you to save them.
So funny.
And then we were like, oh, we just thought, like, are you right? Oh no, I think it was 2 or 3 of them. I think just 2, but like one of them was terminal, so the other one was helping them back through the gate to get to the hospital, and then got ambushed by the Druge heading to the gate. That's why they were so far up and away.
And this whole time we'd just been like squinting at them from the trees, like, are they dying or what's going on?
And then they
over there?
kind of like waving us down. We were like, oh shit, they're Imperials.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go save them.
We slowly were like, should we go? We should probably
We
go.
didn't even run. We just walked over to them as
Imagine if
well.
they were like, well, we were alive.
Yeah. They were really close to their bleed counts, apparently. And I was like, I'm not surprised. But yeah, we were there and like, we took the Druge down. And there was a really fun moment. Like, Alex had his leg cleaved and someone else was down as well.
God.
And then, like, Fergus, who plays Carrick, who's one of our healers, kind of like, I think he got you up and he was like, all right, are you bleeding out? And you were like, no, I'm fine. He was like, okay, well, you'll be fine for now. Wandered, like, ran off to whoever else was down. And then you were like, shit, I've got Relentless.
Yeah, well, he came over to me and he said, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I've been cleaved. I'm down on the ground. And he was like, oh, you'll be okay for a bit. I'll come back. And then it was at that point I realised, oh, shit, I've got Relentless. But that wasn't the first time I'd forgotten. What else did I forget? Stay with me.
Then what am I going to do to this person?
Yeah, it was. I ran over and Corin was on the floor and he was just starfished, and I was like, "Are you okay?" You know, he's like, "I'm bleeding out." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I don't know what to do. To be fair, in my defense, this was the first time I'd ever had Stay With Me. I bought it with my hero point. I was like, "Oh, I'll try and find you a healer." You know, I was like real worried for him. And I was like, "Hang on a minute, I could do something here." And I was like, "Stay with me," and he was like, "Oh fuck!" And we both got
I
up.
really should reinvest in Stay With Me. I used to have it and got rid of it.
It's a great one, and it makes you feel like a hero.
I
Yeah.
don't have Stay With Me. I've got Get It Together, but I think I've said this before, like, shouting something equivalent to Stay With Me on the battlefield just seems really like...
It's fucking
meh.
epic. No,
Oh no, like, I think Get It Together is more Neve, because she's not like stay with me. It's just fucking get
Yeah,
it
but
together.
that is
will ya?
not the circumstances in which you're saying stay with me. When someone's on the ground and you're like, you don't die today,
Yeah.
stay with me.
Yeah. Well, I
Or
mean,
you just
we're
bitch slap them into, like,
Yeah,
come on,
exactly,
stay with me.
yeah.
Get
I'm going to say into submission. That's come with me.
Sorry, Morgan's Nana, if you're listening.
No, well, remember getting my leg cleaved, I think was actually one of my highlights, because you know when you get a song stuck in your head and it's there all fucking weekend because there's no music. So it just
You told-
so we were with Steve. It was Steve's first event, and all weekend, because we were using the name Steve in my head, I just had that Steve Steve from memes and
I remember you
TikTok.
singing it, actually.
Yeah, well, we were singing it. I was singing it to Chloe at some point, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you went cleave when you were killing someone? And there was a point we were fighting next to each other, and this was when I got my leg cleaved. This Druge runs up and pulls back, and I was like, right, I'm going to use it here. So I ran past Chloe so she could hear, and I went, but I was too late, and he got his blade in first and cleaved my leg. So it went, cleave. I was like, oh, fuck. I mean, it still worked, technically. It just wasn't me that said cleave.
It was even funnier, though.
Yeah. He finished the song for me.
And it was cute, like a little duet.
Now it's just you and me and me and you and you and me and
Oh,
your friend
friend
Steve.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, so I was quite chuffed I got cleaved.
Brilliant. That's so funny.
There's a couple of husks I want to call out as well. There was
yeah.
one husk with this huge hammer that was ridiculous that you could barely hold and just like slowly wafting it around. But the true Chad of the battle was the water carrying husk.
Oh yeah, I heard about them.
He had no like weapons on him, so he was just like slapping at you and like offering you water as he goes along.
Aw.
It was fantastic. You, my friend, whoever you are, are a Chad.
That's so funny.
My question is, if you got hit with like a hand, do you take a hit?
No.
Oh, fair enough. I was like, oh god, I've been hit by slapped by
Once
this
you-
guy.
once
I
you-
need Truvavain.
Once you have cleaved both of someone's arms, they literally can do nothing to you at all.
So like a slap, that's not
No.
a hit. But, fair enough.
No.
What if they put the sword in between the knees and just...
Oh no,
No.
he didn't have any weapons on him. He was just going around.
But also,
with a
I'm pretty
bottle
sure
of
if he
water.
slapped you, that would be a conduct violation.
No, like, just on your armor, like.
A large
Yeah.
safe slap.
Yeah.
Speaking of hammers, you reminded me of Rocky's hammer. That guy is lethal with that thing. I like fighting with him just to see what he does with it. He's just got this big war hammer, and he just goes, hoo, 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 hoo. And he was hitting this one guy. I mean, like, and he was just chasing him. But this guy was stepping backwards as he was approaching him, going,
Just like shit.
and it was nobody's fault because nobody saw it, but there was a tree
no.
on the ground behind this guy, and obviously it's 32 degrees. This tree's dead, and it was basically sawdust. So Rocky goes, oh, hits him with the hammer. This guy goes flying backwards, but as he does, he obviously kicks up sawdust, and there's sawdust on the ground as he lands. So there's like this. It was almost like a little explosion up after Rocky hit this guy with a hammer, and I was just there like, wow.
The
that was
SFX are really
amazing.
good on this one.
And Rocky obviously said to the guy, "Oh, sorry, you're all right." And he was like, "Yeah," and everyone was fine. But that was just a very cinematic moment
Yeah,
watching this guy get
100%.
knocked the fuck out with a hammer.
Oh,
Is it an
yeah.
Imperial victory then?
I don't fucking know.
No, we never know.
I'm pretty sure all three rituals were cast successfully.
Who are you?
What have you done with Chloe?
I go to my meetings. When
No.
you were saying earlier that, like, oh, I didn't find out that a cleaver and I was like, we found that out at Miniature Council. Like,
Yeah.
I knew that. I had that information Friday night.
It's crazy how you've shifted. It's great.
On the space of just a couple of events
Yeah.
as well.
It's mad what it does to you.
It's the power.
So, Kerry, what have you been up to whilst we've been at bat?
Yeah, whilst we're giving our lives for the Empire.
I went for coffee. So, yeah, as I was just before battle, I managed to flog some of my herbs to some jackdaws. I was walking with someone who sold a potion to you, Alex, I think. I
yeah.
still need to remember exactly who that was.
I own 2 crowns.
Yeah, exactly. I vouched for you, so I need to remember who I vouched for you for. But that's fun. And then we went to our favourite. Me and my non-com friends went to my favourite coffee house in the Orc camp, which is Venoms and Victuals. And me and Grace have a tradition of going there and asking if there's any orc smut. And every time we go, she tells us that no, that person's not here this event. But actually, but Grace didn't actually come with me on the Saturday morning she was busy doing something, and then I went there and thought, well, she knows I'm going there, so she'll just meet me there. And we found her like an hour later wandering around. So we had to postpone the tradition temporarily. Maybe if we'd have asked then, the person would have been at the event. Maybe they went home after that. I don't know. But no, we had a coffee there. And then we went shopping around the Navarre camp. We got these little mystery boxes that had like crocheted animals inside, and there was 4 of us walking, and there was 4 boxes, and I was like, 'tis fate, and made everyone buy them.
Heresy.
So I made everyone buy them, and I got a little shark to defend my coin purse. And then we just sort of hid around in the Navarre camp until it was time to rehearse the Smuppet show that we had planned. But that was about time that you guys came out of battle.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I came out of battle absolutely sodden. I came out of battle as we were coming off the field, and I saw some former Druge slaves trying to get back into the Empire.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. One of them looked suspiciously like a certain Briar from Varushka we know.
A little guy.
Were they a particularly cheeky little ex-slave?
And we went, basically they were like, we would like to join Dawn. And I was like, right, let me go so I'll go get the egregore. So I went through it because they have to be bonded. So I went through Sentinel Gate, grabbed the egregore, came back. By the time I got back, they'd been sent off. I was like, bloody hell. But it was quite funny because I've spent loads of time arsing about going back and forth because I passed you guys. I went back into the field again. People were waiting for me, and obviously all my allies had come through the gate, and you could see people were a bit like, where the fuck is Tristan? Where's he gone? But yeah, no, came off and then was just literally, I don't know about you, drenched.
I saw you while at the water station because people were dunking your heads in water. It was so good.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Like the person that was chucking the water was like, "Where do you want it? Down the front or down the back?"
Just everywhere.
Like it was the front, the back, or the crack, and I was like, just chuck it down my shirt at the back, and it was so.
Thing
good.
is, I could only get it on my head though because I'm wearing metal armor and I don't want it to rust.
In that heat, it would have dried within 10 minutes
True.
and you would have been fine. That's why I was like, if they chuck it over my head, then my chain's going to rust. I was like, nah, it's going to be fine. Like, if it was raining, it would still be fine. Like, a cup of water's not going to damage it.
I didn't even fight this event, and my hair was permanently wet because I just kept dunking it in water and pouring water over my head.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously hot. We 2 dread shields went down with a bit of heat stroke during the fight. Had to kind of get cared for, but luckily they were all right.
It was really bad. Like, I was there fanning him. I was there fanning Bastard. And he was like, what am I doing? You're actually hurt. And I was
this
like,
little
no, it's
bastard
fine.
or big bastard?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, both bastards.
yeah.
I saw a
both
little
bastards.
bastard getting carried out, well, like arms over people's shoulders. I was really worried
Yeah.
for him, but yeah, by the afternoon, they were okay, which is good. But there's a picture of me fanning Big Bastard.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, in the woods. It's really nice. Nice. Well, I mean, it's a weird picture, isn't it? Obviously, obviously, it's a weird picture, but it's a nice picture.
That's cool.
Have you checked your chain, by the way, Chloe?
Nope.
Check your chain.
Oh, well, I haven't even opened my armor box.
Oh my God. Because I went to go check on my armor not long before E4. I was like, my chainmail's always been fine. And as I tipped the bag out, initially I'm like, is that dirt? Powdered rust just fell out of the bag, followed by orange chainmail. I was like,
Oh no.
I mean, it's that new alley stuff.
Aluminium
Rehab?
doesn't rust, but it does corrode, apparently.
Yeah. Although it's fine. But I mean, it was literally brand new at like E2. And the thing's oil to fuck that whenever I wear it, I come off. Like, you can't see my tattoo because it's that covered in oil.
Yeah,
fucked.
whenever I put, again, because I oiled it, whenever I put my chain on, my hands, so people would be like, would you like some help with your chain? I'd show them my arm. I was like, do you mind looking like this? And they were like, I'll let you do it. I'm like, yeah. Probably for the best.
Honestly, like, I come off looking like I'm the same colour as my jeans.
Yeah.
But,
It's crazy.
Yeah, like, it should be fine.
This is
I'll
why I
check-
like my leather. I think it's just a little
Yeah.
easier.
Well, you were debating chain. But then I said to you, I was like, it's only with your leather as well, like, because you like wearing your leather. And you were like, I'll wear it under my leather. And I was like, well, that's going to be so fucking warm for
Yeah.
it's only going to be good for one event out of the 4.
Plus, it's only one extra hit, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it
but
protects from impale.
It's immunity to impale, which is...
Yeah.
It's not worth
But my
if-
favourite thing is looking out for arrows. I do that more than anything.
But yeah, came back, took my armor off, and then I made I resolved the fact that I've got lots of friends at Empire that I only really see at Empire, and I don't see them that often. So I had a few event times I'd set aside this event to meet people for a coffee.
Oh, that actually sounds quite nice.
Yeah, so I was like, after the battle, I went to go for meet my friend Morella. We met up in Navarre, had a little sit, and we said we weren't going to chat about business, and then we chatted about business. But obviously, it's game business, so it's still fun. So we had like a bit of magic, a bit of summer magic talk, and then I went to vote at the hub, and that was for the Castellan of Spiral Castle, and that took me up till about 2:15, which was just really nice. Just having a nice chill time over that. What did everyone else get up to?
You see, as soon as the battle was over, I ran to get changed because I decided to put my hat in for the Spiral Senatorship.
I'm so sad we don't have Senator Nietzsche.
I am so sad we don't have... It's what the Empire needs. Not just wants, it's what it needs.
What, Senator Nietzsche?
Senator Nietzsche.
I don't
First
think it
Senator of
is.
Spiral. However, I told the Harley Quinn I would like to run in the election, go for the debate.
Sorry, you said that. You said the Harley. The cadence you said that made him sound like the Batman villain. That's why I giggled.
The Harley Quinn.
The Harley Quinn.
The Harlequin told him Nicomo Van Dyle will be running for the election. I will be entering the debate. I get up to the top of the hill. It was meant to be in the archery range, but because that's right in the center of Anvil with no shade, it got moved to the top of the hill. I get up there. All the potential candidates are standing in a line. I see lots of angry-looking Irizeni there, ready to grill us with their questions. And as I'm there waiting to enter the debate, I start to go woozy. And very faint. I'm like, I can't think straight. What's happening to me? And I'm just like, look, I I think I've got to give up on this dream. I cannot RP this to the standard I want with this going on. So I go up to him at the Harlequin. I'm like, I know this was short. I've got to pull out. I can't do this.
It's sorry. Again, out of character health reasons, super valid. There's something very funny about you going to the Harlequin. I've done it myself. Going to the Harlequin and being like, I'm going to stand in this election. 10 minutes later, you have to step out, mate. Sorry. There's something very funny about that.
I thought it was funny because he said, I know this is short, but I'm going to pull out.
Lowering the tone. But yeah, my mate Sebastiano was standing there, played by Tom. And he was just watching me. He's like, I'll help you down the hill. And he said, whilst I was standing there, I was just looking really woozy. He's like, yeah, you could tell you were going to go down any second. And he didn't even buy me dinner first. But no, he was lovely. He carried me down the hill and just brought me to camp, which like, can you guys look after him? And just like put me in this tiny little bit of shade because there's nothing in the centre of that field.
Unfortunately, I was there and I'd just 10 minutes before that been told that the first Spark Carter, I think it was, were selling big bags of ice. So I was like, right, I'm going to go buy a big bag of ice, distribute it out, make sure you had an ice cold drink and an ice pack, which we tucked inside your hat.
Yeah, one of the
took
new
me over to the
Jackdaw
shade.
recruits whose first time at Anvil was giving me energy tablets and like helping me with the sunstrokes.
Like the
Thank you for
rehydration
helping
ones.
your merchant prince.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was taken out for a good 2 or 3 hours of Empire, which I'm super gutted at, but one of those things. I think a lot of people went down with heat stroke, but it turns out apparently having 6 hours sleep over 2 days, living off pot noodles, alcohol, and a bit of water, and doing battle in 3 layers might not be the smartest idea. Maybe.
Again, LARPs and TARPs does not endorse putting LARP over your own physical health.
At any point, for
Please look
any
after
reason,
yourselves,
even
guys.
if it is the last event of the year.
The fact that we don't take our own advice is the crazy part.
Hey, I didn't even fight because it was hot. Like,
You took some time out of the game.
I
You
did.
Yeah,
skipped
you
fighting
did.
an event because of your injury. Looks pointedly at Chloe. I think that was a sensible thing. Looks pointedly at Chloe again. So I actually think some of us do stick to our words on that. Looks
Yeah.
pointedly at Chloe for a third time.
So I was in the centre of the league for about half an hour. Then I decided I don't want to miss out with hanging out with friends. So Kerry carries me over to Navarre.
and
you came in-
because it was like shady there.
Yeah, then I was going to say that's when you came and invaded our camp.
Thank
Yeah.
you, friends.
Because we were all there, knackered, just got our armor off, sweating to fuck, and then there's this like flamboyant meeting happening.
Oh,
There's
Talus came
Nietzsche,
and joined
Talus,
you.
and some other guy that's interviewed you. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, Talus's tent is right there. Just fuck off to Talus's tent.
Yeah.
Get away from
That
ours.
was like an hour or so later.
And I was like, obviously, like, OC, I'm totally fine with, like, you being there. But, like, OC, I was just like, what is this? Have we, like, taken over, like, have the league
Literally,
taken
why
over the
are you
camp?
here?
Yeah, I was like, have the league just taken over the camp now? I was like, should I just tell them to leave? Should I charge them? Like, what are they doing?
Joel was just sat there with his hands on his head, like, "Is this a fucking fever dream? Like, why won't this end?"
It was like, I just want
What
to
is
sleep.
this?
Yeah, it was like, I just want to sleep, and they're just talking about themselves, stupid fucking leaguers. And I was like,
'Cause we're not the most roleplay heavy. I mean, I don't want to speak for all the Dread Shields, and we're not the most flamboyant. So it was just a massive juxtaposition that this was happening there.
It's the fact that Talus is the least looking Navari of the lot of you. He looks so fucking fancy, and I love
I
it.
love him. He's
the
fancy
reason-
Navari to a T.
The reason we were there, other than the fact you had the most shade out of the whole Empire and discovered from Heatstroke, Talus has commissioned my dear Hugo to write a play about us,
Excellent.
saving his precious 14-inch beautiful scaled boy from Brickelion.
Is this what you messaged me about?
No, that's something different.
Oh, God. Okay, cool.
So Hugo will be writing a play, hopefully to be performed at E1, about my heroics along with Talus at Brickelion. It's going to be a lot of fun, I reckon.
I think it was when you were in the woods. Wasn't that when you came over to my tent, sat outside, and just like, guess who's in our camp?
I had to leave. It was that bad.
We were sat outside my tent. Oh, also, recommendation for everyone who's got a bell tent with like a separating ground sheet. All this event, I had the ground sheet separated with the sides rolled up and the doors wide open. My tent was shade. Like it was cool. Like it was really
Didn't act
nice.
like an oven.
Yeah, it didn't act like an oven. It was really pleasant. The disadvantage is people, if they look, can see, but no one really is looking because it's like probably
Yeah.
about 1.5 foot off the ground. On a night,
Don't do that in the Navarre Woods though, because
Yeah.
you would just get so covered in spiders.
I had so many friends in my tent. Tell you what, I had so many spiders, not a single fly. They were doing their job. It was fun. But yeah, it was just really nice because I remember I came back at one point. I was like, by the way, if anyone wants to use my tent as shade, they can. And before I'd even finished my sentence, one of my campmates was running to the inside of my tent, like, please. But when you came, because the sun had basically moved the shade of our awning like way away from our camp towards Wise Guys, and we were sat there. And then you guys just came and sat with us for a little bit.
Yeah. I was trying to sell my materials. It's the first time I'd ever had materials to sell. But yeah, after selling stuff, after fighting, it was sausages.
Hang on, were you there when the Navari trader came over to our camp to buy stuff?
I don't think so.
You must have just missed it because shortly after you left, I think it must have been a trader came along, was like, "Hey, do you want to sell anything?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like you missed it very briefly. Sorry, you were eating, weren't you?
Yeah, after fighting, we did sausages to try and rustle up some funds for our party that evening. But then, came over, saw you. You had one of the biggest pork pies I've ever seen a man eating.
Oh, it's so good.
It
Morgan
was-
is a
it was
man who
huge.
likes his porky pie.
I do love
Pocket
a pork
pie.
pie.
Yeah. Sold some materials to Wise Guys. And then that was about it. Just kind of chilled out in the sun and then got ready for the party with a kettle of ale.
Classic Otis kettle of ale.
I'm going to have like a little theme tune whenever I say kettle of ale. Just like a little, I'll put something in. And a kettle of ale.
No,
Get enough of that with
Not
Tom.
Tom's fanfare.
So next thing that was happening in Dawn was there was to be a big tourney.
Oh, I saw some of that. It looked mint.
So General Aurum of the Eastern Sky was seeking patronage of the Summer Realm for their army. And they had beseeched the Iron Duke, who is Lord of the Crossroads, Master of Revels.
I love Revels.
Summer
Do you still
Return.
make those chocolates?
I don't know. He does have a herald called Revel. Had basically said, "I will give you my support if you throw the best tourney that Dawn has ever seen, or something like that, or the most Dawnish tourney you possibly can." So General Aurum got to work and started to invite different members to the tourney, and the idea was that there would be Dawnish champions facing off Barrien's champions. We didn't know who Barrien's champions were going to be, but the Dawnish champions were people girded as different archetypes of Dawn. So we had a few people who were girded as historic earls of their house. So we had like the first Earl of House Castellan, one of the Earls of House Dufrost. But then we also had things like the Knight Errant. So someone girded as the concept of the Knight Errant. We had someone who was girded as every Knight Protector of Summer. We had someone who was girded as Gilda Ashwine, who is a Dawnish exemplar of courage. And we had someone girded as the Black Knight. And I had the pleasure of being girded as the Black Knight, which I did basically. Everyone else had like, this person is playing this person, but I'd asked for the Black Knight to just be completely anonymous because that's the whole point of the Black Knight. And we've been talking about the way we wanted this to go. We wanted it to be super dramatic. Like, we don't really care, but we want to put on a great show, basically. And we all get ready. We're all at the sidelines. There's troubadours singing. There's like a massive crowd around, everyone cheering. And then we do like a parade around. But before we're getting ready to do the parade and talk about who everyone is, we see who our champions that we're going to be fighting, the gladiators. Barrien was going to send some people for us to fight, but Barrien didn't want to send his own herald. So he messaged a small nation somewhere off to the south if they would send some of their gladiator champions. He spoke to the Grendel,
Yeah.
Oh,
and they sent 8 Grendel champions clad in purple with a leader there who had big shades on
Oh, that's so cool.
and like amazing drip and came down like fucking WWE, like came into the square. It's like, "Whoa," and everyone was booing and he was like flipping everyone off as he walked through. All the champions come
audacity.
through, like heckling everyone. It was literally like watching like wrestling, coming in like giving everyone the bird and like going everyone toward. It was so funny as the champions came around. They came up to where we were and started shouting insults at us. We did a parade around the Glory Square and we did the same thing back to them, like heckling them. And then each of us had a troubadour to announce who we were. So, you know, it was kind of talking about this person is this Earl who's done this great thing, the Knight Protector of Summer, Defender of the Realms. I got Sol, who is Tristan's troubadour, was anonymously asked to announce for the Black Knight. So she was very much talking about like the Black Knight and the concept they represent. And then we came into the big kind of like, hey, really cool. And then we started to do the like the matchups. It was 2-on-2 for each one. And the Black Knight and the Knight Errant fight together with the first bout. And we get up towards the square and we do that thing where we're all up in each other's faces. We've got our weapons ready to fight. And then we just have like a really awesome dramatic fight that ends up with the Black Knight ends up getting beaten down. And then one of the Grendel turned on the other Grendel because they had like a feud. So whilst the Knight Errant's battering the other Grendel, they sprint over and start beating them up. And then the Grendel organizer runs over to try and pull them apart. And then the Knight Errant beats them up. It was really like a really cool moment because it was like the Black Knight sacrifices their own personal glory for the glory of the Knight Errant. So it was a really cool like narrative story. And there was like loads of back and forth, loads of different fights. Someone was girded as Sir Endrick, who is a knight who is famous for his troubadour, Elaine Silverlark, who is an exemplar of loyalty. And she sung songs about the less than great Endrick, but she was loyal to him and she sung about him all the time. And she's like a big thing of like loyal to the people that you love kind of thing. Sir Endrick came on to do his fight. And I think he twisted his ankle or something. I missed, actually. Like, basically screwed up as they came on the thing and had to be taken off. And I was like, oh, no, what are we going to do? And then the crowd, everyone starts chanting like, oh, who's this? Who's coming into the ring? And everyone starts going, Green Knight, Green Knight. And a knight clad all in green bursts onto the field. And then again, so it was like, again, everyone's like, ah! There's some marches with wooden signs that are like laugh, cry, boo, hiss,
That's
like
funny.
running around at everyone. It was so good. And then, like, again, the fights go on for ages. Culminates with General Aurum and General Zoran of the Golden Sun having a big fight. I think General Aurum had their scales ripped off their face by one of the Grendel. Like, they bit the scales off their face. And it was like a real bloody fight. There's people using shields as weapons. And, like, literally at one point, someone straddled over someone just punching them in the helmet. It was so good. But then the competition ends. It was great. We beat the Grendel. And then Revel, who is a herald of Barian, steps forward and is like, you truly put on an amazing show. This is everything my lord asked for. And so the Eastern Sky has earned his patronage. Massive celebration. And then the Grendel murder the Grendel host, because they're pissed off with him. So we just watch him beat the shit out of him on the floor. And we're like, oh, the minstrels go like, have they just committed a crime? Are we allowed? Is that okay? And we're just like, who cares? So, but that was like, so many people have said like, us champions that did it, and also people that like the champions that did it, and also people watched it say it was one of the most like Dornish things they've ever seen. It was like such a highlight of the event. I've never been so hot because I was wearing a full-on black helmet.
Black's not a good colour
Black
in the
helmet
sun.
with my
It is.
antlers over the top.
Yeah, it's the best colour you can wear in the sun, isn't it?
I thought it was white.
I thought it was
White reflects it off. Black sucks it in.
Absorbs.
it.
If someone could Google this and drop it in the comments, because I thought it was black.
No, I think it's white because black absorbs. Well, I'll tell you what did happen. So I was wearing black chain. Chain with a black circo over the top, black helmet with black roses over the top, and then bits of black plate mail that I was wearing. And then someone put their hand on my shoulder to say well done and burned their hand. Because I'd been sat in the sun and it had just been getting hotter and hotter. And it would like burn their hand. I hugged someone later. They put their chin on and burnt their chin. Because I went to say, don't do that. But they couldn't hear me through my helmet to burn themselves. But I'd just been sat in the sun as it got hotter and hotter and hotter.
At E4 next year, I'm going to bring an egg just to try and cook it on your
Yeah.
whatever you call it. Yeah.
It's a myth that black clothes make you hotter. Apparently, dark blue, black, and dark red are the best colours for sun protection compared to whites or pastel-coloured fabrics because it's suggested that they absorb the UV rays.
So it's good for some.
So it doesn't
I
get
see.
you
So
and it goes
it acts like
yeah.
a barrier from you and the
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've heard it both ways.
Yeah,
So.
Because in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, they wrap up in black rather than
That
white.
makes sense.
yeah. But that's also why like they paint radiators white because it helps distribute the heat and things.
There you go. Science lesson on lamps and taps, everyone. I think one of my favourite moments at the end of it, though, was a very Arthurian moment where I came off the field and somebody said, Black Knight, could I please have a rose from your helmet to give to someone as a favour? So like I pulled like a black rose and said, this is a favor of the Black Knight. And it was really cool, like Arthurian tales of the favor of the Black Knight being passed on after a tournament. I was like, yeah. So it was peak Dawn vibes. Had a great time. Absolutely loved it. One of the highlights of my event.
We were on the way to Jordan because he had his something of courage, something.
That's why we were at your tent, Tristan. We went to see Corin because he was having
something of courage of something.
Yeah,
I
that
can't really
sounds
remember.
about right.
Ah, the classic something courage of
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Apparently, you got
That
something
is my
from
favorite
it.
event.
Yeah.
It was something courage.
Was there something courage?
I'm not sure. It was something though.
No, it was a courage something.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
I
went.
see.
We went to support him and then realised there was all these people in this tent. So they all kind of just wandered off. And I sat outside and was listening. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I was just there to support him. And then I was like, I'm really sorry. I need to go. Like, I'm just sat in the sun. And I'm bored and I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, so we went to support Jordan. But that's what we were doing at that point. I think that was after this. Oh, no, that was at 2:00. So it was before the skirmish.
Yeah. So you told me that there was a couple of Varushkan girls selling some of their old kit basically around the corner for in-character money. So I went to go have a look. And basically I was and ahhing, and then I thought, no, I'm going to leave it. I came back to the Dreadshields camp, then realised I'd left my water bottle there. And I got back and they were like, we see you've returned. And I was like, well, actually, I just came from a water bottle. But then I was like, to be fair, I'm actually thinking of joining Varushka next year. And they were like, oh, great. Well, you could have this and this, and these go really well together, and we'll throw in this for free. And I basically got a whole outfit for 6 crowns.
Oh wow!
And
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whole outfit for fake money.
A whole outfit for fake money, yeah. And then I went round the corner and sold almost a throne's worth of True Vein to somebody else that I knew. So I made my money back almost instantly.
Jeez.
Because I was just getting rid of all my herbs so that I could start fresh at the next event. So yeah, I've got a full sort of option for base kit for
It's a
Varushka
good
next
base
year.
kit. Like, because
Yeah,
I looked at
it's
the
really
skirt.
nice colours.
Yeah, I looked at the skirt and debated it. I was like, that's really cool. But I was like, I obviously have no need for it as kit.
To be fair,
and I
it's a
don't
bit
think
big on me, so I think it'd probably fall off you or something.
I don't know. You're good at sewing. You can sort it out.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
But-
well, I could just wear a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it works really well with the belt. You sent me that picture.
Yeah, I'm going to wear it for Hoist the Colours, actually.
That's so
'cause
cool.
it works.
Speaking of sewing machines, I was thinking about making like something warm for E1, something warm and Navari with like a cloak / jacket type thing. And I thought, I couldn't find anything on Etsy or online. And I thought, I could get a sewing machine. And I thought, no, I'm in too deep now. This is where it starts.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah, that's too far.
That's
having the
it. That's
podcast is
it.
the
You've had the
problem.
thought now. There's no stopping it.
To be fair, how many times have we said, oh, if we could just make this, it would be so much better? Or like, oh, if we could just alter this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you've got the skills, like it's because it costs money for the sewing machine, and the fabric isn't actually particularly cheap either. But like once you've sort of like learned how to do it, you can make things more customized. I think is the more.
Yeah.
Tell you what
that's
you do
what I
know.
want.
You do know your garments weren't made in a sweatshop.
Yeah, that is also true.
You know they're made in your sweaty front room.
Yeah, I mean,
It's basically
Yeah.
a sweatshop at this point.
Yeah.
I paid for the luxury of spending 20
Yeah.
hours making this outfit.
But I do. I've said this. I look like making clothes gives you a real appreciation for clothes.
Oh yeah,
You're like, wow, like a lot of skill goes into making these things. I need to keep making kit because
You've got an addiction, Morgan. You've got a problem.
No. It's to stave off some curses because there's a couple of curses that kill your character. One of them
kit.
is saying you're finished with your kit. Like when you're like, I think I'm done actually. I don't think I need anything else. Dead.
No.
The other thing is getting excited about your next character. And I am very.
starting to
You
get
kick
excited
curse.
about an
I keep
extra.
looking at my Varushkan, keep being like, oh,
Come join Varushka,
it's gonna
baby.
be fun.
To be fair, I do really want to do that Varushkan brother thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Rather than
yeah.
You being a Draugr, me being a changeling.
I'm kind of excited. Like I've said this before. I don't
Don't
want
do it.
Tristan to die. What?
Don't say it.
Well, I've already invoked them. It's terrible. I keep looking at it. I keep looking. What's he called? I keep looking at Darko and being like, "Come on, I can do it."
My cabbage is on the sideline. She's waiting for.
I can't. Anyway, I can wait. I will wait. Like Tristan's got some time left in him, but stressful times. But yeah, no, I need to make some more stuff over the long dark. So I'm like, my kit's not done. I'm still making stuff. It's not finished yet.
I'm not going to die.
No, please let me
You get to
live.
be a Naga for like until E1 as well.
Yeah.
For any of your player events, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm enjoying being an
Have you tried being in a meeting? That saves your life.
Yeah.
Can't be killed if you're in a meeting.
No
This is
bigger plot
cutscene.
armor.
Yeah, exactly. Stick a cutscene on.
I really need to start taking a boardroom like table into battles and just sitting there with a halberd poking occasionally as people go past.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, on that bombshell, thank you very much for listening. We'll continue with the rest of Saturday, rolling into Sunday in part 3. And from everybody here at Laps and Tarps, have a lovely afternoon.
Or evening. Or morning. Whenever you're listening.
Goodbye. No one say goodbye.